So hello and welcome back. So in this lecture we would see two examples in which we would apply the algorithm 2. Algorithm 2 being the algorithm in which we first figure out what is the highest order eigenvector. The Vk we figure out, and then we proceedingly find out Vk minus 1 and up to V1. So the first example that we will work out is a fourth order example, and the second one is a fifth order example. So let us straight away jump into the problem. So A that has been given to us, suppose A is this, so this is your A, and one eigenvalue, I guess you can understand clearly by looking at the sum of the rows, that one eigenvalue would be lambda equals to minus 1, and it is also given here in the problem that it is the only eigenvalue, so the algebraic multiplicity is 4. So if such things are not given, then you have to actually find out all the eigenvalues, which you can do actually. So one eigenvalue is lambda equals to minus 1, and it has an algebraic multiplicity of 4. This is given. So what we need to find out is a plus I, a minus lambda I, which we need to find out, which is a plus I in this case, and this gives us this particular matrix. Sorry, you can very easily see that there would be three bases of the null space of a plus I, because all these columns are actually the same column. Basically this is minus that time, this is simply this is minus of this. So you can very easily see that what would be the eigenvectors of lambda, the initial eigenvectors that you would be able to figure out is are three eigenvectors basically. So what would be those eigenvectors? That let us see. So we do the column operation. So this step we have to always do actually. Okay. The first column operation on a minus lambda I, the columns of a minus lambda I, we have to do the column operation, and after that we have to arrive at a decision whether we have to go with algorithm 1 or algorithm 2, because unless we find out how many Jordan blocks are there, we would not be able to figure out if we are dealing with unequal number of Jordan blocks or equal number of Jordan blocks. So here let us see. It is very evident what would be the answer, but just going with the process so that we figure out what would be those actual eigenvectors. So we just take this as the pivot element and simply see that all this is 0, and we are having 1 1 is 0 0 minus 1 0 in 1. So your V1, now you see you have three basis vectors here, and in that case it is beneficial when we are working with algorithm 2. In this case we will be working with algorithm 2. in this case it is beneficial to express them in this manner, that V1 is any vector which is satisfying the equation a plus I V1 equals to 0. So that any vector is basically a linear combination of these three basis vectors, correct. So this you can say V11, V12 and V13. You can denote them as this, and you can write that V1 is basically some alpha 1 times of V11, which is this 1100, plus some beta 1 times V12 plus gamma 1 times 101. This alpha 1, beta 1, gamma 1 in general are non-zero. They could be also 0. If you can choose this as your V1, then your beta 1 and gamma 1 would be. But let us not assume anything right away. So we write V1 as combination of these three basis vectors that we have found out. Now once we have found out the three basis vectors, automatically we have the information that the geometric multiplicity of -1 lambda, only one lambda is here, it is 3, and the algebraic multiplicity is 4. That obviously gives us the information that we are dealing with unequally sized Jordan blocks. There is no way that we have equal sized Jordan blocks. So we have unequal sized Jordan blocks, and in this case we have to actually go till a, like we have to go on doing a plus I square, a plus I cube, etc., and at one point of time we will get a 0. There we would stop, but while doing that, actually we would be revealing some information. What information? We would be revealing the information about the basis vectors of these spaces. So this is the basis vector V1 is the basis is a vector satisfying W1 V1 equals to 0, where W1 is the W1 is the eigenspace of lambda equals to -1, the lambda here we have, and V1 is the vector, is a vector in this eigenspace. So V1, this V1 is belongs to W1. So this V1, this symbol means in, this is a in symbol, V1 in W1. So W1 space, for calculating the W1 space we have done this column operation. We have got the basis vectors of the W1 space. W1 is what? W1 is null space of A minus A plus I in our case. So this is W1. W1 equals to n and a null space of A plus I. We have found out the basis vectors of W1, and we can write any vector in W1. Any vector in W1 is a combination of the linear combination of the basis vectors of W1. This we can do. Now next we have to find out what we have to find out basically is A plus I square. A plus I square we have to find out. So you write this matrix twice and do the multiplication. When the elements or the entries are this way, which are very nice actually, not complicated numbers, then you can actually do it very easily. And what you get here, you would see you are getting the 0 matrix. You can do it yourself. You see that you are getting the 0 matrix. So since you are getting the zero matrix, so my question was, so since you are getting the zero matrix, it is now very obvious that your minimal polynomial is x plus 1 square. So you have the largest Jordan block of size 2. So since you have 3 Jordan blocks and the largest block is of size 2, that means that there is one Jordan block of size 2 and 2 Jordan blocks of size 1. Now it is very it comes automatically to our mind that one of these basis vectors v11, v12 and v13 would go on to give the Jordan block of size 2, and the other two will remain with the Jordan blocks of size 1. They will not go on to give a Jordan block of size 2. That means this, supposing this v11 gives us a v21, then this will never give us a v22, this will also never give us a v23, right? However, the problem here is, how do we know which one of these vectors is going to give us a v2 vector? We do not know which one of these is going to give me a v2 vector, right? Now you can say, sir, let us try with each of these. So my answer would be, in a general case there may be many other vectors. So how much you will try? And here one Jordan block is of size 2, others are one of size 1. It may so happen one Jordan block is of size 4, another is of size 2. So you would be confused which Jordan block to start, which how far one vector will go. So in this case, actually, so these are the reasons why you will be not able to start with the initial eigenvector. You have to go till your x plus lambda to the power x minus lambda to the power of k. Till here you will have to go where you will actually get this zero matrix. Okay, so in this, so you have to go till a minus lambda I square cube, like this, and as soon as you get a zero matrix, so in this case this is the minimal polynomial. So actually you have to go till the order where you have the minimal polynomial. It may not always be 0. So in this case there is only a single eigenvalue, that's why it becomes 0. But in general case there can be other terms, x minus lambda 1 to the power of k 1, x minus lambda 2 to the power of k 2, like that. So you have to figure out what is that k1 and k2. So you have to go till that order. Okay, so when you keep on doing this exercise, you will arrive. So when you keep on finding out the higher order polynomials, you will arrive at a polynomial which is giving you 0 and which is not the characteristic polynomial. So you stop there. So your exercise of finding out a minus lambda to the power of I, those I powers, will stop there. So in this case it is very evident that we have stopped at square, because we have already got the zero matrix and we cannot go further. Now with this, so this is our minimal polynomial is also actually found out. So this is important. Minimal polynomial, it will be your x plus 1 square equals to 0. So this is what you find out. So here you have to now find out the eigenvector v2. So null space of a plus I square, the vector in the null space of a plus I square, you have to find out. Okay, so we are trying to find out v2 in omega 2, which is not in omega 1. This was important. I hope you remember. Now omega 2 is what? Omega 2 is n of a plus I square. Omega 2, W2, V2 is in W2 but not in W1. This is important. So you have to actually choose a V2 from the available V2 that you can choose, but choose it in such a way that it is not in this space W1. So you have to first identify what are those available V2 in W2. Very clearly you can see that since the matrix has already become 0, your V2 can be any vector basically. So your V2 options for V2 is completely open. So this ABCD can be any value. Now you have to choose such values so that it does not belong to W1. So we have to see what type of vectors belongs to W1. For that, these basis vectors of W1 comes to our help. So looking at these basis vectors, we have an idea that we can simply select. So we are trying to select V2 as simply as possible, not trying to complicate things for ourselves. So normally what we try to do, we try to keep one of the elements as 1 and other elements as 0. So our task is only to figure out which of the element of Vk in general, the highest order eigenvector, would be 1 and the others I can keep 0. So in this case you see that if you keep V2, if you keep the first element as 1 and other elements as 0, by looking at the basis vectors of W1, you can understand there is no way that this sort of thing can happen, because you see if you want to combine these to form a non-zero first element, you would eventually get a non-zero second element and third element and a 0 fourth element, and the non-zero second and third elements can never be cancelled by this vector by V13 because these elements are already 0. So just choosing this as 1 and these 2 as 0 would have been sufficient probably, but I also choose the fourth element as 0 to make the vector very simple. Okay, so this vector, this V2 is obviously in W2 but not in W1. Okay, so I choose my V2. I have chosen the Vk. So now the task is to find out. So I have chosen V2. So the task is to find out V1, and V1 is simply A minus lambda I, which is A plus I here, into V2. So A plus I, we know A plus I is this matrix, into V2 we will do V2 is what? 1 0 0 0, which means if a matrix is multiplied with this vector, the first column of that matrix is taken out. So V1 becomes 1 0 0 1. This becomes V1 for this selection of V2. Remember, this selection is your own selection. Your friend may select something different, only he has to take care that the selection is in W2 but not in W1. This much only one needs to guarantee, that's all. And for this one has to look into the basis vectors of the lower eigenspace, just the lower eigenspace, one unit lower. Okay, so we have chosen, so I have chosen V2 as this. For that my V1 comes out to be this, and this V1, you see this V1 can be given by choosing your alpha 1 to be 0, beta 1 to be 0 and gamma 1 to be 1. This information is not necessary to be written down. Okay, just for showing you I am writing it down. So what I gather from here is that my V1 is basically V13. Okay, so this V13 is basically giving rise to the Jordan block of size 2. So the other two Jordan blocks which are of size 1 are are because of V11 and V12, are because of V11 and V12. So now I can form the modal matrix. So the modal matrix I can form now. So if I choose to, so I know my J, I can choose to write my J. Normally we would write the largest Jordan block first. Okay. So this is what we will write, and this is fourth order, and the lower, so we write the Jordan blocks in decreasing degrees, since the last two are all both equal degree, so we write like. So this dot 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 you can do, I suggest you to do this for the tutorials and the exams, but in your real life when you are dealing, for if you are able to understand what you have written down, that is sufficient for you. But for purpose of showing to others, like in assignments and examinations, it's better to write give this dot 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 so that everything is very clear. Now what is aim? Aim would be your V1 and then V2, right? Not V2 and V1. Remember this, always start with the lowest degree, lowest eigenvector from W1. So your V1 is this 1 0 0 1, V2 is 1 0 0 0, and you have your V11 and V12 has to be placed here, and I am looking at my notes and copying it down, 1 1 0 0 and minus 1 0 1 0. So this is your modal matrix M, and you can do the check. So please do the check always. Please verify. If this does not get satisfied, be assured you have done something wrong. Be assured about that. Okay. So if this does not get satisfied, then you have to recheck every step and find out where you have done the wrong. And there are so many places where you can go wrong, so you have to give your utmost attention to every step, every column operation, every step you have to give attention to, so that you are not making a mistake at any step. So my advice is to repeat, to recheck every step just after doing it. Once recheck, then and there itself. Recheck then and there itself. So this is the first example that I had to show for algorithm 2. The next example I will show now. So let us choose some nice color for the next example. Maybe let me see how this yellow looks like. Seems good. Let's see. So next example is this. I have a matrix given as -2 0, so here it ends. First example, -2 0 0, so maybe this is too bright. A, yeah, this color looks good. A is -2 0 0 -1 0 1 -1. Let me copy down. So this is your A matrix. Yes, it is given that lambda is -1 and MA lambda is 5. So algebraic multiplicity is 5. So you have to again do A plus I. When you do A plus I, you are getting this matrix. Already you have a 0 column, you see. So what is our first step? Our first step is to do the column operation on A plus I. That is always the first step. So you blindly do the column operation. You can write it down that we are trying to find out, what we are trying to find out is the W1 space, right? This is what we are trying to find. One. This information you write down somewhere, either at the side or at the top, that what we are doing right now is figuring out what W1 is. Now we would I have chosen this as the pivot element, and for this the column operation I am copying down will be this. I hope you have already noted this, but doing the column operation gives us a clear idea what is happening here, and we get the basis vectors actually. So you had already figured out probably that the dimension of the null space is 3, but which are those 3 basis vectors? So these are the 3 basis vectors. V1 we have found out alpha 1 times 1 1 0 0 0 plus alpha, not alpha, just be consistent with our nomenclature, beta 1 to 1 0 1 0 0 plus gamma 1 to 0 0 0 0 1, and we designate this as V11, V12 and V13. This step has to be always done because this gives us information about geometric multiplicity of the eigenvalue, and this is 3. That means there are 3 Jordan blocks, and since algebraic multiplicity is 5, you can very well understand we clearly don't have any idea what would be the sizes of the Jordan blocks. Okay, so we have to actually go ahead and find out the higher order. So the sizes are unequal. It is very obvious that the sizes are unequal, so we have to go ahead and find out the higher eigenspaces. So we find out a plus I square. So you do a plus I square, and I do it in short actually. So we are trying to find out the space this a plus I square, and a plus I square is the first thing that you will do. What is that? A plus I square is basically you write a plus I side by side. So this is your a plus I, you write this side by side. Now the first column of a plus I square is the first column of this matrix. So whenever you have two matrices A and B multiplied, then the result, in the result, the first column would be the scaling of the columns of A matrix by the elements of the columns, corresponding elements of the B matrix. So I hope you know that. So that makes the multiplication easier, and I am writing down directly a plus I square. I have actually calculated directly by looking at a plus I and then verified in MATLAB. So this is correct. So you can also do the calculation and verify yourself, verify in MATLAB once. So this is the matrix, and let me copy it down. So I am not showing you the multiplication basically, but I assure you, when you have this sort of very simple elements in the matrix, then taking a square is not a big deal. You can very easily see that you have already got a very nice matrix here, and I am directly doing a column operation on this matrix like this. So this is okay. If you can do it like this, then it's fine, but if you are multiplying a matrix, finding out the result, then doing the column operation means you have to copy down the result in the next step, and then do the column operation. But if you can write down what is the square directly, then you are also allowed to do this column operation directly. To take this as your pivot element, and what you get is all zero columns would come now. Okay, I missed a one. Right? So you see here, the problem becomes more complicated as such. It seems to have become more complicated because you have found out 3 basis vectors in W1 and you have found out 4 basis vectors in W2, right? So this becomes interesting now. You have found out 4 basis vectors in W2. You expected that in W2 the number of basis vectors would reduce, but it increased. What is happening? So we'll take a look at it. And this is also one reason you should be very careful when you are working with the algorithm 2. So you cannot actually start from any V1, you cannot actually choose any V1 and go ahead to find out the V2s, because you might see that for one particular V1 you have chosen, you are getting multiple V2s, which would actually may have happened in this case. If you have started with any one of these V1, you would have got some multiple V2s, because there are more number of basis vectors in W2 than in W1. This can be the case, but we should not worry ourselves because of this, because our intention is to choose one vector from here, which may not be the basis vector, it is just a vector. We have to choose a V2 from this, we have to choose a V2 from W2 which is not in W1. That is all we need to do. So we need not worry about how many basis vectors we have got for these spaces. We simply need to worry about this, choosing the vector correctly, and for that we need a knowledge of the basis vectors of both W1 space and W2 space. Then only we will be able to choose one vector from here which is from W2 which is not in W1. However, the choice cannot be exercised right away, because we have not actually found out the highest degree of a plus I that is possible, because you see that the minimal polynomial can only be x plus 1 to the power of k. There is no other eigenvalue. Okay, so we must land up with a plus I to the power of k equal to 0. So we have not yet land up with a plus I square I to the power of k as 0. So we have to do further multiplications. We have to figure out a plus I cube and see whether it is 0 or not. So when we reach 0, from there we would start. So let us see what is a plus I cube. So we are trying to figure out W3, which is the null space of a plus I cube, and when you do a plus I cube, you will see that this is becoming 0. So since a plus I cube is 0, your V3 basically can be any vector. This A, B, C, D, E can be anything. So, and you have to choose V3 which lies in W3 but not in W2. You don't have to worry about W1 right now. You have to only worry about V3 not lying in W2. So you look at W2. You look at W2. What is W2? What are the basis vectors of W2? These are the basis vectors of W2. So obviously you cannot choose any of these basis vectors, that is straight away rejected. So again we start, when we start choosing the Vk vector, we start by looking into the first element as 1, other elements as 0. So we first test that whether it is possible or not. And here you will see that if you choose V3 as 1 0 0 0 0, this V3 satisfies this relationship. This V3 is in W3 minus W2. So this is a valid V3 that you can choose. So look at the basis vectors of W2 again and verify for yourself that in no combination of these basis vectors you will be able to get this V3 that you have chosen. So no alpha 2, alpha beta 2, gamma 2, delta 2 will give you this V3 that you have chosen. You can verify it for yourself. Okay. And there is a way to verify also, if you are unable to see from these basis vectors that V3 is independent of these basis vectors, then there is a way to see also. What we are trying to see is simply whether this vector, this V3 vector that you have chosen is independent of the basis vectors of W2. So you have to stack up all these vectors together and check for independence following the column operations. So in the column operations, no matter, so all the pivot elements would be exhausted, but you will not be able to get a top column as 0. So that is the check for all columns, all the vectors that you have chosen to be independent. That is what we need to check. So this is one vector which can be easily seen from here. So you don't need to actually check. You can write it down and see and tell us that this vector is in W3 but not in W2. It's like it is. You can write some phrases like this, that is evident or by observation. So this phrase is popularly used by observation. By observation. So by observation you can say that V3 being chosen like this is in W3 but not in W2. By observation you can also, to become more explicit, observation of basis vectors of W2. This you can say. So next, what you have to do now, you have to find out what is the V2 that will come out because of choosing this V3. So you have to now do the back calculation. V2 would be equals to A plus I into V3. Now what is A plus I? The choice of V3 like this also automatically gives me V2, because I am simply choosing the first column of A plus I, you see. So what is A plus I? A plus I is very top, very far away in the top. So I will look into my note and see what is A plus I, and that would give me V2. So the first column of A plus I was this, which is coming out to be V2. This is V2. And now there is also a check. The check is this. You would check, you would be happy to check that your V2 that you have found out is in W2 but not in W1. This check once you have to do. So this is for your own verification. Just check your V2 that you have figured out, -1 0 0 -1 0, that is in your W2. So basically this is this vector, this is this vector. So I have not actually assigned any names here. I should have V21, V22, V23 and V24. So your V2 that you have found out is basically minus V23. So your alpha 2, beta 2, delta 2 is 0, but gamma 2 is -1. So it is in W2. But looking at W1, the basis vectors of W1, you would see that your V2 that you have found out, okay, let me see once. Yeah, V2 that you have found that you have found out cannot be composed by the basis vectors V11, V12, V13. So you verify it on your own. It cannot be composed because the fourth element in your V2 is basically -1, and the fourth element in all of these vectors is 0. So it cannot be composed of the basis vectors of W1. So this is a check, a beautiful check that has come out, that has revealed itself. So now you have to find out what is V1. So next step, you do V1, A plus I V2. This is equal to, so you look at your A plus I matrix. You have to take the first column, multiply with -1. You have to take the fourth column, multiply with -1, add together. That is your V1. So looking at my A plus I matrix, if I do this, what I will get is this thing. And this basically is minus V12 that we had. This is minus V2. So the V12 that I had assigned, you, if you look back again, go back at the top, you will see that the basis vectors that I had found out for W1, V1 is equals to minus V12, okay, from those basis vectors. So you have actually now come to the conclusion that your V12 was basically generating all these higher order basis vectors. So we have a eigenspace, we have a Jordan block of size 3 because we have gone till a plus I cube. So we have a Jordan block of size 3. So one Jordan block would be of size 3. So there are 3 Jordan blocks. Total size is 5. One Jordan block is of size 3. Other 2 Jordan blocks would be of size 1. So those 2 Jordan blocks would be generated by V11 and V13. That is very evident. So now you will write down the modal matrix. Now you can write down the modal matrix M, that would be this V1 that you have calculated. Since you would write down the largest Jordan block corresponding to this V2 that was there. So this V2 you will write down then, and then you write down the V1, and then the other V11 and V13 you would write down, and the V11 is this and V13. Your J is this minus 1 1 0 0 0 0 minus 1 1 0 0 0 0 minus 1. This is the size 3 block, then a size 1 block, then another size 1 block. So you have got your J as well as M. Now you have to do the check. You do the check AM equals to MJ and verify for yourself that you have done things correctly. So this is all. Here in this particular example, I would like to show you something, that if you start with the V3, that the V3 that we have chosen was 1 0 0 0 0 0, you can also take the final element as 1 here, and till then, so if you take 1 0 0 0 1, still then that V3 will not be a part of W2, and you can proceed with that V3 actually. So I urge you to just do this game, play this game. You take your V3 as 1 0 0 0 1. This is also not in W2 but in W3, and that would actually give you V2. It is first column plus last column, so it will give you again the same thing. Why? Because the last column of A plus I is all zeros. The last column of A plus I is all zeros. So that's why this is becoming possible. So this V2 can actually give us both these vectors, the 1 0 0 0 0 as well as 1 0 0 0 1. It depends on what you start with. So there is a choice now. Actually there was a choice and we choose one over another. So this sort of choice can always be there, and it depends on what you have chosen, and this would lead to the same V1 what we have calculated. So it depends on the choice that we make on what we will get as the modal matrix. So what will change here is M. M is going to change. This column is going to be affected, so this entry is going to be affected. Nothing else is going to be affected. J will remain as it is. If you do am into mj, you will get the same result. This you will get a check. I don't know if am and mj will be the same, but you will get the equality will be verified. Okay, so this is something that can happen in case of this sort of matrices where you have repeated eigenvalues. So your modal matrix may not be same actually. So you can actually start with some v3, your friend can start with some other v3, and both will eventually both their modal matrices will give rise to the same Jordan matrix, same Jordan form, but the modal matrices could be different. So be aware of this fact. Don't be like, don't, it is not beware of this fact, but be aware of this. Okay, so with this actually I will end the lecture. So hopefully if you are given any matrix A, and so from any matrix A, sometimes by looking at the A matrix, you will be able to figure out all the eigenvalues. Sometimes we have to do that lambda I minus A equal to 0, that thing, and find out all the eigenvalues. Sometimes the eigenvalues may be given to you also. So whichever is the case, you have to first know the eigenvalues, and then you have to proceed accordingly. First thing is always to do the column operation on A minus lambda I, even if all the eigenvalues are distinct. Even then you were actually you had to do that A minus lambda I equals to A minus lambda I v equals to 0. You have to find out the eigenvectors. That eigenvectors would form the modal matrix. In case that there are repeated eigenvalues, then finding out the modal matrix becomes a lengthier process. That's all. So that first step is always there, which is to find out the basis of the null space of A minus lambda I, which are the initial eigenvectors basically, and that would give you the idea of what is the geometric multiplicity, and eventually you would go ahead to finding out, so if finding out A minus lambda I square, cube, etc., etc., as long as you don't reach the minimal polynomials degree. So always in these two examples that we have done, the minimal polynomials degree, when you have reached that, we got this as 0. But if there were another eigenvalue, if there was another eigenvalue, then the 0 could have been reached earlier also. So you have to go till that degree where the minimal polynomial is 0, not to that degree where the matrices the matrix raised to some power becomes 0. It is not like this. The general thing is that the minimal polynomial is getting 0. So for what degree of A minus lambda I the minimal polynomial is getting 0, that to that degree you have to take A minus lambda I, and then you have to start going backwards. So then from there, from that space you have to choose a vector, and then you have to go backwards, and the vector has to be chosen by maintaining these conditions, that it must not be a vector coming from the lower eigenspace. That you have to only ensure. So when you would ensure that, you would be able to carry out the operations. You will be able to pick out the eigenvalue, highest eigenvalue, the highest order eigenvalue, and figure out and compute the lower order eigenvalue. So in this way you would proceed. So this method works in general for all types of Jordan blocks. So even if they are equal in size, even then this exercise will work. So you can apply these algorithm to even in those cases where the Jordan blocks would be equal. Okay. and if the Jordan blocks are unequal, you have to actually go through this. So you please take care of that, which algorithm you are using and in which case, and this is the more general, it is suitable for all. So if you practice this one, you can apply it to all. However, the algorithm 1, some of you may find it easier in some way, and if there are equal size Jordan blocks, you can also apply that algorithm. So with this I will end the lecture, and thanks for your attention.